Waking up in Boston town, best pups in the city all around. Let's get that tail wagging right, making every good day so bright. It's the Common Dog Podcast. Yeah, the Common Dog Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the Common Dog Podcast. My name is Laura Donnell. I'm your host, and with me today, I have JB, my general manager, and Sabrina, my desk manager. We are all trainers as well. Papa, and our guest today is Papa. Come here, Papa. Good boy. Hi, sweet pea. Papa just finished a board and train with us, a few weeks ago.
A few weeks ago.
And he is 9.
9.
Right? He's a 9-year-old mix, Beagle mix of some sort. And he did awesome.
He did awesome.
He did so great. You want to talk a little bit about what we did with Papa?
Yeah. So we started off, I did his first intake. We did 2 intakes because we were unsure whether or not he was going to be
His discovery meeting?
Yes,
Yeah.
his discovery meetings. I met with the mom and him first, and then I was like, this is a dog that you needed to see before we took him on because of his age, because of how intense his reactivity was.
Bite
we
risk.
wanted to make sure that he was going to be safe to handle all the things.
Yes, he's so terrifying, isn't he?
Terrifying. And you came in for the second one, and we decided that a board and train was the right call for him.
Because he did try to bite me numerous times.
Yeah, over Mom. He did not want us to go near Mom. He didn't want us to take him away from Mom.
Major resource guarding.
He came up at the leash at me the first session because I took him
Papa.
away from Mom, and
Place.
he was very mad about it.
Mama's boy.
So,
Place.
and that's, we talked about
Good.
separation anxiety before, and that's a lot of the times the root cause of some issues, right? So he's got some severe reactivity when he does react. And
Well, Mom was definitely his heir.
Yeah,
The separation anxiety was extreme, and it had been going on for so long because Mom did, like so many other people do, they wanted to try to protect people from her dog that could potentially bite. I think so many people just don't realize that, you can work with your dog and help them get out of that fearful position where they just, you feel as though that they have no life and you have a dog but you can't take them anywhere. And we've done a podcast on it. I think it was specifically about separation anxiety. So check it out if you'd like to learn more about that. But he is definitely just a huge success
difference.
Story.
She's
9 years old, and now she has a life with her dog who can be around strangers.
She's not terrified to
people.
walk him through her building, down the street.
Yeah.
He still has his moments. The reactivity is always going to exist when you have a reactive dog, but she at least knows how to handle it when it happens, and it is less frequent and less intense.
Less intense.
Don't
Eat your paws. Papa.
So,
Come on.
he's probably itchy because of allergies, which is part of our topic today.
Yeah. Our topic today is summer safety. The timing is perfect. Don't eat your paws. Stop that.
He's like, but I want to.
Scratch it.
You're so itchy.
Everybody's itchy. I'm itchy. In fact, I'm fighting this summer cold, so I'm sorry if I'm a little less than I usually am because I've got medicine head. But let's talk a little bit about how here at the Common Dog we address summer safety. So if you want to jump on that, start out with how it affects dogs that are wet and so on.
So the first thing that we did, we actually just did it the other day, was we have a staff meeting and we just go over everything that we're about to talk about so that our staff is all on the same page. So the biggest thing that I think we mentioned first is the heat.
The heat.
So we have the bay door that opens up, and we decide, whether or not if it's too hot to open the door and just keep the dogs inside in the AC. And the outdoor yard.
People.
Yeah, and us.
Yes, people too.
They're like, oh, it's too hot, right?
It's too hot.
We don't have to open the bay door, do we?
Yeah.
Typically, it's in the lower 90s or higher where we really kind of look and consider, is it too hot?
We consider the humidity and everything.
Right.
Yeah, and especially if there's a heat index, it's just better to just stay inside with the AC on.
Right.
But our outdoor yard is also it's very sunny.
Yep.
So we make sure that the dogs are not spending too much time in the sun. Of course, laying in the sun is nice, but not getting too much time. We use sunscreen on them. We actually use children's sunscreen just because it's formulated for sensitive skin, which most dogs do have sensitive skin.
Most of the time it's for your like pink skinned,
Yeah.
light like coated dogs
Yep.
and a lot of the times you might not notice, but your dog he doesn't have it, but some of them will have that lighter skin and
that
it's
far,
freckles
yeah.
like at the top of their nose, and that can get burnt because it's not as protected as the rest of their body is.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I typically see dogs who get sunburned, the knuckles on their paws, the tops of their nose, like you said, and even the inside of their ears, their ear leather, are all areas. And that's not to say that they can't get sunburned elsewhere, but those are just the areas that I tend to see.
Well, like my dog, Eris, she's a boxer, and she has really thin coat, but her skin is dark, but she can still get too much sun.
Absolutely.
And she also, is a flat-nosed,
Yep.
flat-faced dog. So
Yeah, so the flat-faced dogs is also something that I would say it's the second most important thing that we bring up is the dogs that might have a harder time breathing when it is just a little bit too hot, or if it's hot enough for us to be outside, maybe it's not necessarily the best situation for them to be outside. So one thing that we pay attention to is all the different types of breeds that we have. What can we be doing for them? So whether they go outside and stay outside for 5 minutes, and then we bring them back inside, bring them back into a more shaded area,
Right.
or bring them just into a cooler part of the facility, like the grooming room, or maybe up to the front desk.
Right.
Things like that.
The nice thing about our yard that opens up into the outdoor yard is that they can go inside if they want to.
Yeah,
so
it's their
they
option.
can freely go in and out. And then you have dogs that are like my dog, like they will just
Stay there.
Sunbathe her.
stay,
Yeah.
they turn.
And she's black.
She's
which is
black.
Like my boxer, they're black, but they're such
She
sun
will
lovers.
just bakes for hours. And you
Yeah.
got to kick her out of the sun, otherwise she'll just stay in it
Right.
for as much as she wants to.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Well,
we have
that's
to be
where
mindful of that stuff too.
Our splash pad comes into play too, so it really helps kind of help us as well.
Yes.
But it could help cool the dogs off. Where we have a splash pad that is operational in the summer, and water shoots up from the floor, and misters turn on, and so forth, so they can run and play in the cool water. And help keep themselves cool as well.
We'll have a couple of pools. We have one pool usually in the front, one in the back, and
Yeah. Kiddie
sometimes we
pools.
gotta force some of them to go in there. Like I'll make Lana go in. I'm like, you need to cool off. Like you're burning hot.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
But even then, we'll just in the outdoor yard itself, we'll hose it down before we even put the dogs out there because the surface can get really hot too.
Yep. We
So
hose it
I
down
guess
frequently.
a good tip would be to feel the ground before you
Yeah.
bring your dog outside.
Absolutely.
A good rule of thumb is to use the back of your hand, put it on the ground. I think 7 seconds, 5 seconds. I don't know. There's the exact number. But if it's too hot for you, it's too hot for your dog.
Right. Yeah.
And if you are a frequent like walker of like concrete and pavement and stuff, put balms and stuff on your dog's
bombs.
feet.
If your
I
dog
see a
can
lot of
tolerate
people
boots.
They
in
can
the
wear
city, they wear
boots.
booties because, and not just for snow, but when it's really hot
Absolutely.
outside. I mean, if you wouldn't walk barefoot, don't make your dog walk barefoot on that
Yeah.
surface.
Absolutely.
Because they can get burned. I mean,
yeah.
they can definitely burn their pads, and then you're dealing with a dog that, you're having to put salve on, and they have to wear the cone of shame because they're just going to lick the salve off.
Yeah. And not even just that, you think of the effects that come from that as well. Just from the time after that, they get really sensitive about having their paws handled after that.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So-
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. So hot weather, hot surfaces, we're very, very mindful of.
And then you have the opposite of like with your labs that will
Yeah.
drink salt water and then have diarrhea. So if you don't know, salt water can give your dog diarrhea and make them very
Badly.
sick. Very, very
And
bad.
very dehydrated, so they've got diarrhea, they're dehydrated. So bringing your dog to an area where there's salt water.
Even the like fresh water, like in a lake and stuff, you have to watch. They can't take in too much. They drink as they're swimming
Right.
a lot of the times. And
Right.
so, you have to be mindful of that. If you're taking like, say, like for example, Lana, for whatever reason, she wants to swim in fresh water. She will not swim in the pool here, but she loves like creeks and ponds and stuff like that.
Creeks.
Creeks.
Pennsylvania. Creeks for the rest of us.
Creeks. She likes creeks and ponds and stuff like that, and I have to like basically pull her away from it.
Yeah.
So I have to find like the smallest life vest that ever exists for dogs.
Because Lana,
for
for
her,
those of you who don't know, Lana is a mini
she's
dachshund.
this big.
She's very small. How much does she weigh?
9 pounds.
9 pounds, yeah. She's very, very small.
But even then, I think a common misconception is that people think dogs can swim in general.
Right.
So they'll just bring them to the beach or bring them to a lake and let them jump in and not necessarily know that that dog might not have the natural skill or the instinct to start
Or
swimming.
to keep up with it. Like
Right.
they might be able to swim for like 10 minutes or so. And that was my concern with Lana. She's so small. Like
Yeah.
dachshunds have webbed feet actually for digging. So it does help her propel herself, but like not being able to keep up with it. Like
Yeah.
what is the word that I'm looking for?
Float.
Endurance.
So the endurance to keep swimming, but she can't, dogs don't float.
Yeah.
Except for
So-
corgi butts for some reason. We see corgi butts just pop around in the water.
That's so funny.
So I used to put life vests on my 2 boxers that I had previously because we had a little boat and they loved to be in the water. But they were constantly jumping in and out of the boat, jumping in and out of the boat, jumping in and out of the boat. And so we put vests on them with a handle on the
Yep.
top. And they would just float. They loved it and just sort of hang out next to the boat. And they'd, do the little doggy paddle a little bit here and there, but absolutely adored being in the water
Yeah.
for really long periods of time. But they don't float naturally.
No.
And I didn't have to train Hazel how to swim, one of my boxers. But Nutmeg went thump. We put her in the water and she just went straight vertical and went right under. I was like, oh my gosh, So we taught her how to swim with a life vest. And then we would take the life vest off and, just like you teach a kid,
Yeah.
right? So just automatically assuming, especially bigger barrel-chested dogs, they don't just know how to swim.
Yeah.
So
That's funny. I never thought of that because all the dogs that we've ever had, they've only been dachshunds though, but they all were able to swim.
Yeah.
We went to Maine like a few years ago and we were kayaking, and that's where I took Alana kayaking, and I had to tie her to the kayak with the life vest because I was like, you gotta stay.
You gotta stay around
somewhere over
She's
here.
like trekking into the bush.
Going. I'm like, get over here. Where are you going?
Yep.
But it was surprising to me because she hates water. She hates water in any other capacity. But if we're on a pond, a lake, like anything she wants to get in that water. It's wild.
Does she go in the pool here?
Nope.
No, wants nothing
She
to do
did
with
one
it.
year. One year she decided, actually, it's funny, it came up on my Facebook like memories that she did it. But then what happened is she started resource guarding the pool.
Of course
I
she
was
did.
like, great.
So Rhea, my Malinois, she likes to swim. She loves to jump and then swim to either my husband or one of my kids, loves to swim and then swim back and then jump and then swim. And then it's this whole adventure kind of thing. But my current boxer, Eris, she hates water.
Yeah.
You put her in the water and it is torture. She has no interest in being in there. So some dogs love water, some dogs don't. Yeah. Some dogs, the breed is more likely to be inclined to be more of a water dog, right? As you go boy, yes. Like Goldens or Labs, they're more inclined to be water dogs, right? Mm-hmm. Boxers not as much, and I don't really know about Dachshunds if they're as a breed.
Everyone that I've ever had, and more so it's the drive. Like they want to get at the things that are in the water.
Right.
Like she was digging up freshwater clams off the.
Rhea digs up. I don't know. She picks a rock and decides that's the rock that she has
too.
to dig up. Gets it in her mouth and then brings it to the shore, and like she has this little pile of rocks that she gets.
So that's a really good point though, because last year when I took Lana camping, one of the things that I realized with her is that when she's in drive mode, she will not stop. She won't stop.
Yeah.
And I was like, she's gonna run herself ragged and she's gonna keel over.
Yeah.
Like she was nuts. She was in the water. She was digging rocks up. She was. I don't
Just
know.
like children, you have to, say, hey, that's enough. It's time to rest.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever heard her make some of the noises that she was making there, but like when we went, I was with another coworker and she was like, I've never heard her make those noises before.
Crazy noises.
She's insane. And I was like, I know. I don't know how to describe it. It's like this
So
very
you have to manage.
high-pitched.
Yeah, you have to manage them.
I had to put her in thankfully I had her carrier crate.
Yeah. Oh, you had to put her in her crate?
I put her in there. I couldn't have her on a leash.
Yeah.
She was just like, the thing still exists. She's like, oh my God, I gotta get to the things. And she wouldn't chill out. So I had to put her in the carrier crate.
So we
and
have a
she
camper.
Passed out.
And we can put the girls in the camper,
Yeah.
which they don't really like. They just sit at the window until they finally pass out, you know. Once we're away from the water, Ray kind of lets it go, but it's sort of the same thing. Like, I feel like she's going to keel over.
Yeah,
She
she
just
wouldn't
won't
stop.
So you're in a hot environment, right?
Yeah.
They're having fun. They don't know when they should stop.
Yeah.
So the same thing that we do here with, okay, you've been out in the sun long enough, or you've been playing in the pool long enough, you know, you need to take a break, take a rest. You need to manage that when you're out camping or hiking or doing, you know, any outdoor activities with your dog, because some of our dogs will just go until they drop.
Yep.
Right?
I mean, one other thing, so if you have a pool, if you have like an in-ground pool that has the cement on it, it's gritty, right?
Yep.
So Lana, actually, we were at a party once and everybody was drinking, and so she was just going up to every single person there, dropping a ball in front of them and barking at them, and they'd just throw it for her. She did that for like an hour, and then she came over to me and she was panting. I was like, man, she's tired. And then she just dropped like a sack of potatoes, and I was like, oh my God. And then I looked, and her paw pads were just shredded from
Remember we had
being
a
around the
client
book.
who you had a pool, and they would bring him in.
Yeah, it was a Wheaton.
And he would be lifting up his paw pads, and they're like, I don't know why he's, you know, he seems sensitive on his pads. And I looked at his pads, and I'm like, well, they're shredded, you know.
From
And
the
so
pool.
I thought initially it was them walking him on hot pavement, but they kind of put two and two together and realized it was the pool, that he was just people throwing the ball in the water. He'd jump off and then run and then jump and run, and his pads were just beaten to
Because the
all
surface
hell.
there is supposed to be gritty so you don't
Right.
slip.
Right. Yeah.
Right,
Right.
so-
Yeah. Well, and to some extent, that's the epoxy surface that we have here, right? So we can't let them run and be crazy especially when that surface is wet.
People say their dogs will get their nails ground down just from being here too.
Yep.
We'll
Lana
have people
does.
ask us if we trim their nails.
We're
Like,
like,
no,
no,
we
it's
didn't touch
just-
your dog's nails, promise.
Yeah.
So, although a lot of people want us to do their dog's
Yes.
nails, but yeah.
And the water thing does lend itself to hot spots.
Yes. So if your dog's wearing a collar, if they keep the life vest on, that moisture trapped under whatever it is can cause an irritation called a hot
Harness
spot.
underneath their
Yeah, and like high
armpits.
chafing areas, those kinds of things. And if they're not found, they can get nasty real fast.
They can get
Real
infected.
They can get infected. They're
Yeah.
very smelly. So if you have a dog who really likes the water, really just making sure that they're dry as much as possible, especially before doing any like sort of resting, if they're going to be going to sleep, not going to
Right.
sleep wet. Looking in those tight areas like their armpits and even in between their toes, under their ears is a spot that I tend to see a lot because
Right.
they scratch right here. So
Golden's
So one of
get
those
it a
chamois
lot.
towels is really helpful, and they're
Super
small,
absorbent.
so if you're camping or whatever, they're easy to bring with you. But they really help draw the water. We have to do it with Rhea because of her coat.
Yep.
So I have to make sure behind the ears and around her neck, and
Yeah.
and even where her tail is,
Yep.
right, in that area and under her armpits,
Yep.
because she'll get those hot spots, and they
Yeah.
can turn nasty really, really fast.
absolutely. And
So-
similar to
and they
us,
hurt.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Similar to us with long hair, if you're walking around with just heavy, slopping wet hair, one, it's uncomfortable, and two, and you're just wet for a really, really long time,
Right.
and that can make your own skin, you start to get pruny and itchy and gross. So, having something super absorbent, anything to dry your dog as much as possible. would be
It's
really
also
helpful.
important to rinse your dog after they've been in salt water.
Oh, yeah.
Just like when you want to kind of rinse off after being in the ocean, you should rinse your dog off, both salt water and chlorine.
And chlorine.
You need to rinse them with fresh water and then dry them off.
Yeah.
So
Pause for a second. I just want to make sure this is recording.
Oh, are you shitting me?
Oh no, it's fine. I just have anxiety about it like shutting off every once in a while. Okay.
I'm like, I don't have the fucking energy to do this
I know.
again,
That's why I wanted to double check now. Okay, go.
Where are we? Oh, I never started it.
Where are we at on your?
I'll tell you. We probably started about 3 minutes in, and we are about 18 minutes.
Okay. All right. So, what are some other things that we
Ticks.
can? Ticks, fleas,
Burrs,
burrs.
fireworks.
Okay. Yep. All right. So,
So on the topic of
outdoors.
Your coat.
outdoors and skin and all that while you're drying your dog, or if you're just looking them over in general, you should be, because ticks are really bad right now.
Yeah.
And they're teeny tiny.
Teeny. And we have that Lone Star tick now that's making its way up
Yeah.
into the area.
They
which
look
makes
like
you allergic
poppy
to
seeds.
beef.
Yeah, it's really, I think it's prevalent in like the Cape area right now.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Well,
Yeah.
they're a tick with a little white, kind of looks like a star, but this is yet another wonderful, horrible tick. I have such phobia of ticks. Oh my gosh, it makes me
I
crazy.
mean, where I grew up in PA, everybody had Lyme's disease.
So, I
it's
know,
really bad.
right? Oh my gosh. So how would you, like when you look for a dog, let's say you have a dog like Eris where she's got black skin and she has black fur. How do you find a tick on a dog like that?
So you got to be in a well-lit area, and you also want to be using your fingertips. You want to feel for something that almost feels like a pimple or like a scab, something that just feels abnormal. You really are relying on your fingertips when you have such a dark dog like that,
Yeah.
and light.
You
What
can
I really
take
like
their
to
skin
use,
and roll
you
it,
can roll
too.
their skin, but what I really like to use is a lint roller.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
that's a really good idea.
So I'll lint roll them if they allow it, if
Right.
they're cool with it. And you can find some stuff with those lint
Oh,
rollers.
yeah.
But if you have something similar that's sticky and gentle enough
What
to
about
roll
those
over them-
combs that have like that
Yeah,
are
they have the flea and tick combs, but I find that ticks can really be stuck on there, and
Really?
you can just rip
Just
their
miss
bodies
it.
off and actually
Miss
leave
the
the head
head.
inside. Really
Gertie,
uncomfortable.
Gertie,
Yeah,
Gertie.
really uncomfortable. So I really like to use, they have something called a tick tornado, where you just slide it on and you do a twist and they come right off. You can also just have a pair of tweezers.
I just
on
use
you.
tweezers usually.
You gotta, like-
you gotta get right down in there and pull the head. But,
But if you have a dog like a husky and a tick is attached, I personally try to trim the area just so I can make sure, one, that there's not any more in the
Right.
area. But I really like
It's-
to get a clean pull from those dogs because they can really hide in that type of coat.
It's
Right.
tough too. Like I heard that huskies, it's actually tough for the ticks to even get to their skin. So
Yeah.
half the time
'Cause
they
there's so
don't.
much- yeah.
Half the time they don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I check Lana daily because even in our grass, like there could be ticks and
Yeah.
stuff.
So I have our yard. I live kind of up by the New Hampshire border. I have this company, Oh Dear, that comes and sprays this organic solution all over my yard. So we really don't have ticks in our yard. It's great if you're looking for a tick solution. Call Chris Murphy with Oh Dear. They're out of New Hampshire, I think Atkinson, New Hampshire. Great, and you can go right on the grass right after they spray it. It's that safe for
okay.
you and your dog. There's no 2-hour waiting period, and you're always sort of wondering, is this really ever safe for me to, But we don't really have a tick or flea or mosquito problem, right? We
Yeah.
just don't. And we have deer that are in our yard.
Deer are
and so
heavy
on.
carriers of ticks.
Yeah,
Heavy
so
carriers of ticks.
I strongly suggest having your yard sprayed if you can. It's not terribly expensive. It's really pretty nominal, especially for the the safety of not getting some horrible tick-borne disease for you
Absolutely.
and your family and your pets.
Dog.
And
Making sure you have flea and tick.
right, flea and tick.
For your
I use
dogs.
Brevecta, and then I'll switch sometimes
Some
to
Paraquat, I think I
Vanguard
have some
or
Paraquat or something right now.
Some people use the collars. That's great, but again, it's like if your dog is getting wet, you need to take that collar off,
Exactly,
so
yeah.
on and so forth. And I
And
have
if
two
they-
dogs, so I don't like them playing together.
Yeah,
with,
if they go
any
to
kind of
like
collar.
a daycare or anything like that,
Can't
they have
wear
to
'em.
take them off.
Yeah, some dogs have sensitivities, allergies, get reactions.
and I know there's some studies that have tied those collars, like Seresta or whatever, to potential illnesses that it's created. So
Yeah.
something you have to think about. Do your own homework. Decide what works best for you. But we definitely have seemingly every summer now they're just calling it like tick mania or
This
whatever.
is bad though.
But we didn't have a hard winter.
It was a wet winter.
It was a wet winter,
The
and we got warm really
we got
fast.
warm fast, and it was
Which
a
is
heavy.
like tick ambrosia. They just
Yeah.
love those. That
Yeah, and I told
scenario.
you guys it was a heavy acorn season last year.
right,
So there's a lot of rodents.
right. That are
Around.
running around with ticks on them.
But I used to when me and my dad used to go in the woods because I was always in the woods when I was a kid. We would come out with 20 to 30.
Oh my gosh! I think I would have an actual
not-
small heart attack.
I am
Holy
not-
smokes! I could not deal with that.
I am not even exaggerating a little bit. we used to put socks over our pants.
Yeah, they still tell you to do that.
Sometimes we would take duct tape
Yep,
and wrap
duct
it around
tape,
your
yeah,
legs.
and wrap it around your sock over
You
your
know.
pant.
But similar, or sorry.
My pop-up swore on he would take a clove of garlic in the morning.
Ew.
There's no actual studies
so
for
lovely.
it that
You're
actually
hiking with them, you're like,
prove anything, but he would take it like a supplement. Like he would take it with his vitamins every morning.
wear light clothing,
Mm-hmm.
you know. It's much easier to find ticks on a dog that's a light
Yeah.
light hair than it is on dark hair. So those of us with or you know, a lighter coat, like it can be hard to find ticks on Rhea. She's got that thicker double coat.
And just they're so small,
Yeah.
you know, that they
Yeah.
can be really hard to find. But a thing that might not be so hard to find is they call them stickers, but the burrs.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Especially pick them up around the beach.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
once those things are stuck and you have a dog with hair that things can stick to,
We call them hitchhikers.
yeah, that's why they
Yeah.
call them stickers too, because they just
They stick.
right on there.
And they clump, and then they'll just
So clump,
And then they
they'll
make a mess of
mat,
everything
They
up.
are so pointy. I
felt
mean, just like a cactus.
so bad when you had to cut one of our coworkers' dogs.
Yeah.
Like beautiful golden retriever.
Yep.
Her tail like
It's
basically
just
down.
the right thing to do at that point, because then
Yeah.
you're just pulling at them and ripping at them.
You're not getting them
It's
out.
not
Well, in Florida,
fun.
they're called sand spurs, and they hurt. Like they
Mm-hmm.
hurt to your finger there. They're like little baby cactuses.
Yeah.
So those are definitely something you want to be on the lookout for your dog.
Yeah,
this
just keep
summer
your dog
when you're-
out of them. Like there's no,
Yeah.
like once they get them stuck, you're not getting them out.
You got to cut them off.
And then they just twist and it pulls on their fur and it makes it really
Yeah. So
uncomfortable.
if you have a dog that gets them stuck to them, especially if it's somewhere on their face,
Take them to a groomer.
Yeah, I would
take
take
'em
them
to
to
a
a groomer. If you have a vet that'll see them,
Yeah.
I would have somebody else try to get them off.
I mean, unless you have experience doing
Unless
it. But
you- yeah.
So.
What about skunking?
Oh my gosh, I had to call the girls back in just like 2 nights ago. I opened the door and this huge waft of skunk. I was like, oh my gosh, come back in, come. That's where you need a good recall with your
Oh,
dog.
yes, 'cause they're gonna
That's
go
why
after
you need
that
training.
skunk.
Call us. Because I recalled both my girls. They came running back in. They're like, yay, we're excited. And I closed the door and then they sort of looked at me like, what? I'm like, we're going to go in the front yard and go to the bathroom, which we never do. So yeah, there was...
It's bad.
Skunk spray is very oily.
What is rule number 1? when a
Don't
dog-
wet them. Do
Isn't
not
that
wet
crazy?
them.
Your first instinct would
not
be to
put-
wash it off.
Because it opens up the cuticle in the hair, it seeps in, and then once it's washed and that cuticle is closed, it's stuck in there, and then
For
every
weeks.
time you wet them, if you walk outside in the rain or they go to a groomer, they get wet at a daycare.
They sit in your bathroom while you're showering.
All
like
of
any
it.
moisture.
any moisture, humidity, you will smell that smell. So
smells.
do not wet them.
What's the first thing you should do?
The first thing I like to do is use baking powder.
Yep.
Just baking powder on its own, sprinkle it all over the dog,
Yep,
let it
it
sit
soaks
for like
everything up.
5-ish minutes, and then I'll make a solution of Dawn soap. Some people like to use vinegar. I really like to just use Dawn soap. And then I scrub them, let them sit for 5 minutes, rinse, and if I feel like I need to do it again, I'll do it again. But Dawn dish soap, it's a
degreaser.
it's a degreaser, so it really strips even the good oils in their skin, so you don't want to do it too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, do not wet them first. Do not put them straight into the tub. That is
Well,
the
and
worst
here's
thing
the
you can
thing. You need to do something right away, not just because it smells. It burns.
Yeah.
It hurts their
do.
skin.
It's like a chemical, yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's the skunk's
Brush the-
defense
you
mechanism,
gotta
and
brush their
it
teeth,
burns.
too.
I don't know if you've ever gotten it on you, but I've gotten it on my skin, and it burns. It hurts.
Yeah.
I stay the
And
hell away from skunks.
bathing-
Absolutely not. I'm
Getting
good.
a dog who's been freshly skunked, your eyes
Burn.
Eyes burn,
Yeah.
and you get it
And they usually get it right in the
the
face.
face.
They're usually in the face. You can't imagine having that.
in their mouth.
Oh, gosh.
So your dog is gonna smell after they've gotten skunked.
Yeah,
for
it's
a
not
while.
going to be 100% gone. Even if you use the best technique, the best possible thing that you could do, it's going to stick around for
So you
a
can
little
use
It
some
gets in their
saline in their
mouth.
eyes,
Yeah.
but it burns and it hurts.
It gets in their mouth. I always find that their whisker place
Yeah.
the whiskers go into is like swollen, because I think
Yeah.
it gets in there
'Cause
too.
it burns.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
poor kids.
What other little tips can we give for summer before we wrap it up?
Oh, fireworks.
Fireworks.
Fireworks is a big one because you never know when it's coming sometimes,
Yeah.
depending on where you are.
Lovely neighbors.
But I mean, there's almost no like preparation that you can do for fireworks. I mean, you can try playing a sound on your phone or a recording
Just
of
white
fireworks.
noise,
It doesn't work like playing a fireworks sound does not have the same effect as like a big boom going off.
Well,
over
because
your
it's
head.
physical. Sound waves they actually move the air, so you can feel it, just like, you know,
The
when there's
meteorite that we had the other
meteorite,
day.
Exactly, you know, you can feel it in your skin,
Mm-hmm.
on your body, whereas, you know, just, you know, doing something that's not really loud, it's not the same effect.
Yeah, at least if there are things that are scheduled, like you know that there's going to be fireworks happening in your area, creating your dog is the best and pretty much the only thing I tell people. Don't even try to do anything else.
I
Just
do white
create 'em.
sounds sometimes with my dogs,
Yeah.
just to kind of create a muffled,
Yep,
you know,
to muffle it a little bit.
experience. But we have people that come, we have dogs that come stay with us over the 4th of July, not because their parents have plans, but because they live someplace that has big fireworks, and, you know, we're pretty insulated.
And
in
even the
terms of
Boston
sound.
fireworks, when you're here, you don't really hear it.
You don't hear it. No, you don't hear the Boston fireworks.
No.
So,
But yeah, and there are dogs like Lana. She does not actually care about the fireworks when she's inside.
Yeah.
When she's outside, she's gonna freak out. So, and that's gonna cause your dog to run off
Right.
every time.
Every time your dog's gonna book it to try to get away from that.
Yep. And there's no getting away from
And
it.
it's just a
'cause
sensory
yeah.
overload. You
Yeah.
know?
It's the same thing with like some dogs are like that with thunderstorms and stuff. We have
Yeah.
a list of dogs that are here. If the thunderstorms roll in, we have to like kind of give them some space to be alone and just
Or some of them want to
comfortable
just
or-
be right
up
under
to
you, like Velcro,
Yeah.
you know, and they're, you know, every dog's different. We
Yeah.
know our clients' dogs really well, so we have an idea of, okay, Fluffy needs this, and, you know, Diesel needs that kind of thing. So,
And probably the other thing would be barbecues.
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 Yep. Stop dropping stuff on the ground.
Teach your dog
Hot dogs
a solid
belong on
leave
the
it.
grill.
Yep. Make sure that your dog doesn't go around the coal fire, right? They're gonna, you know, if they're a food motivated dog, they're gonna be putting
They're
their
gonna
face
try.
towards that fire. I've seen plenty of dogs come in with burnt whiskers. Like, oh no. I mean, I've done it to myself. You know, gotten over the grill too far and was like, wow, that's a lot of heat.
Yeah.
And my eyelashes are gone. But realistically, you know, don't make sure that if you're having a party at your house, if you're having a barbecue, that your dog is comfortable with strangers, that they have a place to go, like the crate, where they can get away from noise and you know, all the stimulation.
Yeah.
That people aren't feeding your dog, you know, because that kind of food isn't great for them,
them,
right?
right.
And then you're going to have a dog that's not feeling well and perhaps getting ill, and bones.
And one thing that actually goes with that is beef skewers or meat skewers.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That fresh meat, and they get that skewer, it's going to be a bad situation. So
Yep.
really just being cognizant of where you have your food in general, and how that
Right.
is being
Right.
kept away from them is really important.
And don't give your dog chicken bones, rib bones. They splinter, they can swallow them, and then you're at the vet and you're dealing with potential internal bleeding.
Yep.
Yeah.
It can be really scary and very, very dangerous. So just don't give your dog chicken or rib bones. It's not a good idea.
No.
So,
No, not at all.
well, so our tip for the day,
I'd say probably a solid leave it
Yeah.
for the barbecues.
Yeah.
right?
Or even leave it just for like the water, the, you know, burrs, the, you know, get away from those things.
Right. So let's throw Papa on a leash real quick. Come here, Papa. Come here. He's like,
I am sleeping.
We need a picture of this.
I am sleeping in this comfy bed, and I have no interest in doing anything you say right now.
Pops.
All right, so here I am at a barbecue, and I'm eating, and
Leave
I'm
it.
eating.
Yes, good boy. Let's go.
I'm eating my food.
Good boy.
Oh, and look, I was eating, and I dropped some food on the floor, right?
Leave it. Yes, good boy. That's
So
a good
solid
job.
leave it. Telling your dog, nope, that's not an option. He moves away from whatever it was that he was interested in.
Leave it. Let's go. Yes, good boy.
And then he gets praise. Don't forget to reward the dog for doing what you asked. So it's a solid leave it,
Leave it. Yeah, good
and then he gets
boy.
praise. And you can even have a treat for him for having left what he's not supposed to be eating. But a solid leave it will help get you through any barbecue.
Let's go. Leave it. Yes,
He's a
good boy.
Thanks, Papa.
Thank you, Papa.
Thank you all, and we'll see you next week.